Greetings and welcome to Hot Topics from the Soul. I'm your host, Dr. Valerie Parker Hagan, and I'm delighted to be before you. Well, we're almost at the end of 2024. Yes, Christmas is in another week, and we're getting close to the end, and individuals are saying, I haven't finished what I started in January, and I'm running out of time. I had goals set that I wanted to have some things completed, but then here we are in December, almost a week away from starting the new year, and you just quite haven't done it. Well, I have a special guest with me tonight. His name is Claudio Sette, and he has a powerful story regarding his journey to purpose. I'm going to bring him in now. Claudio.
Hi, Dr. Valerie. How are you?
I am awesome. You have such a powerful story. I met you a couple of years ago. You're one of Les Brown's proteges. You're a motivational speaker, an entrepreneur. And I wanted you to come and share your story because you have such a resilient story of purpose that you are so unstoppable as it relates to your dreams. You came in from Brazil, and I want you to share a little bit about your story and how that shaped who you are right now.
Yes, Dr. Valerie, I'll be happy to share that. First, I want to say thank you for your time. I know time is very precious for all of us. And I want to say thank you to you and thank you for everyone who's going to be listening to us. Yes, I came from Brazil to United States. I was 18 years old. But before I got here to United States, you see the flag in the back over there? I can only see the flag from the TV, watching the movies and watching news. And I was young watching that flag. And growing up, my parents, they're very poor in Brazil. I born in poor section of Brazil. And I born in a farm. And my parents live in the farm. We grow like coffee. We we produce coffee in that area. And born over there was very difficult at that time. My parents doesn't have no money, and at times my mom is telling me we barely have something to eat. And fortunately, my parents ended up getting divorced, and I was 3 years old, and I have a brother and two sisters. And I didn't see my mother for 6 years during that time, and for 6 long years I didn't see my mother. And my father moved to a different state. He took all of us with him, and that's when it started the struggling. Not just for me, but for my brother, for my sisters. It was a very difficult moment for my family at that time. And being far from my mom was very difficult. At times in my life, I saw my two sisters going to live with the rich family because my father, he cannot keep up with us. Some rich family, they noticed that they offer help. And at some point, my brother, my older brother, he went to live with another family. At that time, I was the only one left with my grandmother. At the time, I look at myself, I was like, man, nobody wants me. I feel like I was
Yeah.
left out. But after 6 long years, I get a letter from my mother. That's when my life started to change. I get a letter from my mother, and I really want to live with my mother at that time. And I was 9 years old at that time. And I remember leaving with my mother back to the farm, and was very emotion moment just for me and my mother. But me and my mother have a very hard time because she didn't have a kid for 6 years. She didn't see me for 6 years. I didn't see my mother for 6 long years. And but my mother, she started to shape me up. She started saying, son, I gotta teach you how to live life. And I remember two things my mother teach me very young age. And those two words they stuck with me until today. And those two words they make a difference in my life until today. And she said, I don't have much to give you. She said like that, son, I'm sorry, I don't have much to give you. But I'm gonna teach you two things. I'm gonna teach you to be honest. I'm gonna teach you to be hardworking. And she said, no matter what you do a good job. And my mother, she started to put me to clean the house. She said, go clean the house. And after I clean the house, she come check and she put her hands under the bed and she said, no, this is dirty. Go back, clean again. She started putting me do like chores around the house. And believe it or not, that helped me. She started teaching me how to make my bed, how to clean the house, work in the farm with my stepbrothers. Um, at 10 years old, I remember I wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, jump on the back of the truck with some 30 other workers, go to the top of the mountain and work in the coffee plantation and to make some money. I was 10 years old doing that. And but that's because my mother, she taught me the principles of work. And at that time I really like it to go to work. But I spent some time with my mother, then I went back to Brasilia to live with my father. When I went back to Brasilia, my father, he he's doing a little better. He got my sisters back to live with him. My brother was not there yet, but my two sisters was back home. I was
Mm-hmm.
12 years old at that time. At that time, I remember when I was 13 years old, my father, he lost his job. He has no job. I have a job. I have a full-time job at 13 years old, and I was attending seventh grade at that time. At short time, and I find myself another job. I end up having two jobs, age 13. And 4 months later was really hard for me, having two jobs and going to the school. At that time, I decided to drop out of school. And it was very difficult for me because I have dreams. I want to become a CEO. I want to become like a going to college to be like a business for business and to become a CEO of corporations. At that time, I have to let that go. But I have to help my parents because I remember days in my life, plate of food was a luxury for us, and every day in my life was a battle in such a young age. I remember that time at 13 years old, I was sleep like 4 or 5 hours a night, and one of my job was working a bar at 13 years old. And
You
people
were
may ask
working
me
in a bar at 13?
at 13, people may ask me, how did you work in a bar at 13? But Brazil, we're talking about like 20, like 26 years ago, and but the people really like me. They say, Claudio, we want you to work with us. And I started working the bar 13 years old, and I work really hard. And working the bar was a change point in my life because when I talked to my boss one time, my boss Eduardo, and when I talked to him, he said, Claudio, you're very brave. He said, well, let me share my story with you. He said, Claudio, I dropped out of school in the fourth grade. That was my boss was telling me. He dropped out of school in the fourth grade, and he would start telling me, share with me how he built his business. At that moment, I start look around myself. I start look around myself. I see the beautiful business he have built, and then he told me, say, Claudia, when I build this business, I only have $100. I only have $100 in my pocket. And he started breaking down how he did it, how he did it. I was very impressed. When I look around myself, I say, man, if he dropped out of school in the fourth grade, he built this beautiful business. I dropped out of school in the seventh grade. I tell myself, I think I'm gonna be okay. But there was a turning point in my life because me and Eduardo, he didn't just become my boss, and he become my father because he hold my hands, he guide me throughout the process. And I was very hard work and I was very honest. Those two principles my mother taught me, honest and work. Eduardo, he saw that right away in myself. He knows I was honest, he can trust me, and he knows hard work. I think today's life is really hard today. We trust people. It's really, really hard. You trust somebody. More and more, it's going to be difficult for you to really trust somebody. And more, everybody wants to be successful today. But when you say the word work, there's not much people don't want to do the work. They want to easy success. But Eduardo, now he noticed that on me. He say, well, Claudio, he's really hard work. And we spend time together a lot, work side by side, and he's keep teaching me things. I saw him grow. I worked with him for 4 years. At age 16, I become a manager at the bar. Age 16, I become a manager at the bar. At that time, we have about
Funny, I'm listening to your story and I'm thinking about my brothers when we was growing up.
Mhm.
They're a lot younger than I am. And I was raised in New York. And then when I went back to South Carolina, which is the country for us, and my brothers used to work in the tobacco field and used to pick cotton and all that stuff. And I mean, they were going to school and then doing their chores early in the morning. And when they got out of school, they were in the fields working. Whatever produce was going on at that time, that's what they would do. So I appreciate your journey and explaining that, because it's like parallel. You know, you were a hard worker, and you know you were dedicated to a cause, and that's one of the things that individuals don't like doing. They say they know they want to do something and they have goals and they have dreams, but then they don't want to work towards that dreams, and sometimes you have to take a detour to get to where you've gotten to.
Yeah, I think the principles come like I'm a big believer that kids live by example, and today I plant the seeds at home with my kids, and I teach my kids how to keep the room clean. My kids at home, the first thing they do before they leave the house, they gotta make up the bed. All of my kids, I have four girls. Imagine I have four girls leave the house in those days, 2024, and make up the room. I make sure they keep up the closet clean, and that's my principle growing up. My mother teach me that. I think more and more you have to focus inside your house, inside your environment, because at that time my mother, she knows she doesn't have much. That's all she thinks. She doesn't have much, but she have a lot, because everything she have, she give it to me. And that time my mother, she knows it was worth it. Invest everything on me, and she did. She
Hmm.
invests her time. She invests any money she has. She buy me something. She used to buy, like a clothes, whatever she can't, and but do
And you
has
were
a.
grateful for that, not like how the children are today. They got to have this name brand stuff. You just grateful to have a new shirt and shoes. I used to tell my
Yes,
children that too, because it was hard for me, being a survivor of domestic violence and having to, was homeless at one point and having to rebuild. I was like, you got to be thankful and grateful for what you have, not
yeah,
what
that's
you
very
don't
inspired.
have.
That's very inspiring when you share that story with me, and I could never imagine it. You went through
Mhm.
that, and like all of us has a story, right? All of us has. And but I think we gotta use our story now to get us out of there, And growing up in Brazil, yes, it's go much deeper now than I share the little bit I share here, because at times I remember when my parents got divorced, I was sleeping on the floor. My father lose everything. We end up sleeping on the floor. I remember at times rats. And one night the rats beating a feet. They beat a feet when you're sleeping. Biting a
Ooh,
feet. Yes, that's like say it goes very, very deep. I'm telling you, like very, very deep. At times I don't have even like rice to eat, just like rice for like months to eat. And not having the love of my mother. I'm 39 years old. 39 years old. I only have spent on my mother 6 years out of my life. I have a
wow,
big void between me and my mother. The out of 6 years, I only have memory of three. The only memories I have is from 9 to 12. 9 to 12. That's a big
wow,
void for me. And that void, but when I live with my mother from 9 to 12, I tell my mother, I say, Mommy, you only need 3 years to make the person I am today. Because in 3 years, my mother, she teach me a lot of things. And those 3 years I live with my mother, I can say that changed my life from 9 to 12. Because even 39 years old, I went through all there. I started working the bar, age 13, drop out of school in seventh grade. I never went back to school since then. Never went back to school since then. I ended up 15 years old. I bought myself a piece of land in Brazil, considered a very poor country. People believe they cannot do something with their lives because Brazil is the problem. Brazil is a poor country. And 15 years old, I bought myself 5 acres of land. 15 years old. At
wow.
16 years old, I bought myself a motorcycle, brand new motorcycle. And everything was great for me. I was 17 years old. I was living a great life. I have a great job. I have a great people around me. My boss was a big supporter of me. He became my father. And but 17 years old, I know I want more in my life. That's when the United States become a option for me. But I have a friend live here, my friend Wallace. We've been friends since young, and he came first, and he's a little older than me. And one day we talk, and he said, Claudio, you should come to the United States. And if you get here, I can pay you $65 to start work as a helper installing floors. I was like, I did the math. I convert the dollar to the real. It was a big difference. And I was making good money in Brazil for my
Now
age.
is the money different from Brazil to the US?
Yeah, now it's a 6 to 1. If you send $100, you have 600 over there.
Oh,
Yeah, 6 to 1 right now. Back then, it
okay.
probably was like 3 to 1 back then. 3 to 1 was a lot of money back then. And when my friend Wallace told me that at that time, I could not sleep. I start make numbers. Okay, man, if I go there, if I work the many hours, I used to work 16, 18 hours a day in Brazil at that time. I say, man, if I go to United States, if I work 16, 18 hours a day, the same thing I do over here, if I stay there 5 years, I can come back home, I can go back to school, get my diploma, maybe go into the college or open my business. That was my goal at that time. I was 18 years old, but come to United States was very beautiful. Have the imagination, come in here, make all the money, but I have some odds against me at that time. I didn't have qualifications to get a visa because I'm dropped out of school in seventh grade. My both
Right.
sides of my family very poor, and I have a pretty good job. Was not enough for me to go to get a visa. The one way to come to United States was crossing the border, and at that time, the organization or whatever people they help people cross the border at that time, they charge $10,000 to cross the border, and I sold everything I have. Everything I have $6,000. That's a lot of money for 17 years old at that time.
Yeah.
$6,000, and they said they cost $10,000, but
Now was that $6,000 Brazilian money or equivalent
American
to
money.
US?
American money,
American
yes.
money. So you
Yes.
were rich.
I could buy a brand new car at that time. Yes, it was a lot of money, believe me. It was a lot of money. But I worked really hard since young. My mother taught me to work hard. No matter what you do a good job. Do a good job. And at that time, I make a decision to come to United States. I sold everything I have. But when I talked to the guy supposed to help me cross the border to come to United States, and he did say to me, Claudio, I know you only have $6,000. I'm gonna give you a pass. I'm gonna give me the $6,000. I'm gonna give you 90 days. 90 days for you to pay me the other four. They say when I get to United States, when I start to work, I have 3 months to pay the $4,000. But
That's a
he
lot
said
of pressure.
that's a lot of pressure. And then he did tell me something. He said, Claudia, but I gotta be honest with you. Crossing the border and you can lose your life. He told me that. I gotta be honest with you. Crossing the border, you have to walk for hours, and crossing the border, you can get bit by a snake. And Mexico has a lot of snakes in Mexico. And he said you can get kidnapped by bandidos. And he said you can get arrested by the police and spend months in jail. The border patrol spend months in jail. And he said, "What would you like to do?" I said, "I want to do it. I want to take the risk." At that time, because I know getting to United States that can change not just my life, but the life of my family. And that was my purpose. My purpose was to get to United States. At that time, I have to use what I have. I have to use what I have. And there are things I don't know what's gonna happen. All I gotta do is be living my faith and be courage to face the challenges that come in my way, be positive. I accept that. And coming to the United States was very challenging. It took me 21 days crossing the border. 21 days. My whole crossing was 21 days. I left Brazil. I never flew before. Never been in an airplane before in my life. I didn't speak Spanish. I didn't speak Spanish. I can flew to Mexico. I don't need a visa to flew to Mexico, but I didn't speak Spanish. We group of 6 people. They flew us in groups. We all like was a 2 women and 4 guys, and those males they travel the woman's like the wife. Oh, that's my wife, because if they travel by themselves, the people in Mexico know they can rape them. Anything can happen for a woman to be like if you.
Wow, I'm glad you're sharing this story and stuff because we see on the news families trying to cross the border and people have their own opinions about that. Like why they coming in here, they're taking our jobs and all kind of things like that. But they're ordinary people just like you and I that are working, trying to make a better life.
Yeah, some people that never made it here crossing the border at times. Yeah, you even see like bones. And some people in the crossing. Yeah, you see like bodies left behind, and it's very like it's very scary. Be honest with you, Crossing the border, getting Mexico was very scary to me. We got kidnapped in Mexico. As soon as we arrived there, we able to escape. We able to escape. They extortion us for money, and we able to run away. But it took 21 days crossing the border. Was many things I have to face inside Mexico. I have to pay money to the police to give me a pass, and I travel in the bus for 36 hours, and they have three checkpoints. Every checkpoint, I have to put money inside my passport to give me a pass. And getting to the border was very dangerous. And yeah, being in the truck, the last part of the crossing, come to United States, the what I consider one is the most painful for me when after many days was almost to the final, and they say you're gonna be in the truck for 19 hours, the semi truck, and I get in the semi truck nighttime with 24 other people, 24 other immigrants in the back of semi truck, and we spent in the truck 19 long hours. It feels like was a week.
Wow.
Yes, it was very dark. I could not
Your
see
journey to
anything.
purpose.
Yes, journey the purpose. Everybody's in the same purpose in that truck. And it was very cold. At times we start hugging each other to warm each other up. At that time we have nothing left over. All we have is the clothes in our bodies. We cannot bring no jewelries. Even if I have this ring, I gotta leave behind at the time. And it was 19 hours. I thought I was gonna die at that time because I cannot feel my legs. I cannot breathe at times. But at some point, the trucks they made into that destination, and getting here to United States, and was I only have the clothes on my body. I have no money left. I invest everything I have, and I remember my friend Wallace. He gave me $100 to buy clothes. I went to Home Depot, to Walmart. I bought $100 of worth of clothes, just the cheapest clothes I could find, just enough for me to get started. And I slept on the floor for the next 4 months. The first mattress I have, I found in the street. I found in the street, and I did pay the $4,000 within 3 months. I worked
Wow.
24/7, 24/7 when I got here. I start talking to
We can't get
people.
people to work 5 hours part time.
I have to do it because I made a commitment now to pay that money, and I think it's something I learned. Keep your words. If you give your word to somebody, you have to do your best. You
Mhm.
cannot. You gotta do it. That's what I did in 3 months. I worked 24/7, and I start talking to people. I believe that's why I learned Spanish because there was a lot of Spanish community at that time. I start to introduce myself to them. Then yeah, I don't know. I learn Spanish. I start learning English. Then I start working the floor, installing floors. And then something I did different. When my friends, I remember when I'm on the job site, my friend was taking long breaks, take long breaks. I take a short breaks because when I take short breaks, I start learning. I put my knees in the floor and start to learn. And I trying to practice how to install floors. And my friends take long breaks. I take short breaks, but I was there practicing. And within 6 months, I double my pay. Within
Mm.
6 months, I went from $65 to make $130 per day. And within 8 months, I start my own company. Within 8 months living in United States, I start my own company. Sometimes people ask me, Claudio, how did you come to United States? You don't know the language, you don't know the culture, and within 8 months, you start working for yourself. You start opening your business, and that's something amazing because when my friends they take long breaks, I take a short breaks. I took a short breaks. When I was watching, once I was home, I was watching a movie. I have subtitles in Spanish to English at that time,
Mm.
and I learned English within 8 months. I was able to speak enough to communicate with people, but within 8 months, I started my own business. Yeah, within 5 years, 5 years later, 5 years went by. I never went back home because things change. Sometimes you plan a life, and life, they bring you to different directions. They want to make sure you stretch more. At that time, I met the mother of my kids. We ended up getting married. My whole life changed. My whole life changed. I did not get back to Brazil in 5 years as I planned to. And I did pretty well in 5 years. I have a beautiful house. I have things I could never imagine it to have in 5 years. But something happened. 2008 and 9, the recession comes, the recession hits.
Yeah,
And
it hurt everybody.
yes, that time I lost everything, Dr. Valor. I lost everything. Was very devastating for me because to for me to see everything I built go was really, really hard. At that time, I lost my motivation. And that time, my marriage is not going too well. My marriage is not going too well. And I have two kids. At that time, I feel stupid, dumb. Say, man, why, how I lost everything, why I didn't see this coming, right? But when I look around myself, I see many other people, they lose everything. I see people, they 60 years old, 50 years old, they say, man, I lost all my 401k. People lose everything.
Yeah.
And it was a very hard moment. I was in debt at that time. I was more poor at that time than when I came to here, to North
Wow.
America. Yes. And but the most price I paid at that time was very difficult. Was too far from my family to do all that by myself because I have two kids. My marriage was not good. I have a lot of debt at that time, and I focus and pay the debts. I make sure I focus, pay off my debts, make sure I have a good reputation, and I did that for the next coming years. And
Hmm.
2012, I make a decision, end up getting divorced. In 2013, I start build myself back up at that time, and I start to go into the gym to start take care of my body, eating healthy, exercise. I was weighing 145 pounds, and within like a 2 years or 3 years, I was weighing 185 pounds. I built like 185 pounds. I was very muscular, very fit. I was very healthy, but something amazing happened at that time. When I went to the gym and I started, instead of listening to music, I was listening to Les Brown. I was listening to speech motivation. At that time, I remember when I listened to Les Brown, when I was working out in the gym, he said, how bad do you want it?
Mm.
How hungry you are. And he said, hungry people have zero excuse for success. And those things, they stuck with me. Every time I was working out,
Say
I
that
hear this.
again. Say that again, Claudia.
Yeah, Les Brown, when I was working out, pushing weights in the gym, instead of listening to music, I was listening to Les Brown. When I was listening to him, I was lifting weight, and he said, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? And he said, hungry people have zero excuse for success. And he says, most people need to see it to believe it. But if you believe it, you will see it. At that time, when I start looking myself in the mirror, I start see the muscles grow. And they say, no, Mr. Brown is right. Because I was very skinny. I was 145 pounds, 145 pounds. But something amazing happened, Dr. Val. In 2013, I started working out in the gym, listening to speech motivation. I didn't just build my body. My body was transformed, but my life was transformed. My mind was transformed because I was bringing all the good stuff to my mind. I was very focused. My diets, I have a plan, a diet plan, exercise plan. At that time, I started to implement the positive in my mind in my business as well too. And 3 years later, I have a paid off house. I have a paid off house, and I weigh 185 pounds, nice and clean muscles in my body. I never imagined have the body before. Within 3 years, I built that paid off
Sounds
house.
like you're proud of your body, Claudio.
I'm very proud of my body. Not right now because I got some weight right now, but I have 4 daughters right now. but but in life, Dr. Vela, what I learned at that time was very difficult for me. But when I look myself back in 2016, 3 years later, I look back and say, wow, I have earned more than I earned in pretty much my whole life in 3 years. The results I have in 3 years was something I could never imagine it in the
Mm.
3 years. And when I look myself back today in 2024, I did everything I promised my family I was gonna do. I built my mom a brand new house for my mom 2 years ago. I built a house for my sister. I bought a brand new car for my brother, for my sister as well. I helped my brother plant 30,000 coffee trees. 30,000 coffee trees.
30,000.
30,000. And today I bought a 40, I think it's like 80 acres of land. We're gonna plant 30,000 more in coffee tree. I did everything I could. I promised my family. Now, in my mind, I want to do for my family to give my family a dignity to experience, to live life, a little better what they have.
Hmm.
And besides that, my family here in the United States, yes, I was able to have things today I could never imagine to have. And today I generate millions of dollars in revenue of my company. I could never imagine that. We just did the celebration, the year celebration, a couple days ago, this past Saturday. We have 40 people in a celebration. We did a celebration for the employees. We have 40 people there, celebrated with us the Christmas and take a pictures. I give every single one a gift. I give every single one a gift. And when I look myself back as I man, and I could never imagine I'll have like 40 people showing up for a celebration, for a year celebration.
Mm-hmm.
But to get there, I pay a price. For 19 years living in the United States, I could not see my family. Could not see my family because I could not travel back home in Brazil because I crossed the border. It was a big penalty when you cross the border. There's not much available for you to become illegal to this country. But in 2021, I was able to get my green card. And today, yes, I have a green card since 2021. I'm gonna become
Yay!
a yes, I'm gonna become American citizenship in about 2 months. I'm gonna get my American passports in about 2 months, and that's something I could never imagine before. Now I could imagine, but I could never
And
like
look at that, your
yeah.
road to purpose. You came here, you immigrated from another country, came here, created a business, and then you created jobs for people here in America.
Yes, today because I have friends coming here today. I see people around me today. The immigrants people come here. I have a friend. She come here. It'll be like 5 years. She come here, and she has her own business today, and she speaks just enough English to talk to people. But she came here 5 years ago, and she built her own business too, cleaning houses. I say I think everything is possible when
So,
you
what are
really
some
want.
steps that you would say? Because one of the things that I hear in your story that you keep saying is you will focus.
Yes.
You will focus, and you went beyond the expectations of people you work for, and you were credible.
Yes, like
Integrity was very important for you.
yes, it's very important to me. Even today, I think to me, like my experience, everything I do, I think you got to find something you're passionate about, something you're very passionate about, and then something very important. I don't think many people this maybe this why separate me from many others, or may separate others from many other people. It's because of this. I think some people they do not put all the time and energy in themselves. It's very important you invest all the time and energy you invest in yourself. Okay, you don't spend hours watching Netflix, talking to your friends in the phone. No, who tell what. You gotta get rid of the gossip stuff. You gotta make sure you focus on yourself. I tell people all the time and energy you gotta invest in yourself because and that to me was is still today. I do that today. I invest in myself. I didn't spend hours watching Netflix. I invest myself because all of us has a 24 hours. All of us has 24 hours. Even Elon Musk. Elon Musk has 24 hours. You have 24 hours. But the difference
Yeah,
between
Elon Musk. Yeah.
yeah. What separate us from the other success, what they have, is how you spend your 24 hours, how much you invest in you in those 24 hours. Because some people, they spend the hours. We have the same amount of hours, but and to me, it's very important. You invest all the time and energy in yourself. And some other thing to me, I really stuck with me. I heard this before, was very profound to me, and they say a life is a gift from God. A life is a gift from God. How we live a life is a gift to God. And to me, that really touched me because uh, that's how I want to live my life. I want to make sure when I leave this earth, God will be proud of me because I did understand God is not worried about the house I have today, the cars I drive today. He don't care about that. What really God's care about is the character you live, the person you become. You live here when you spend time in this earth. And to me, to having all this, to me, the most important is not having the house I have today, the cars I have, the 30,000 coffee tree I help my brother plant. But the most important is the person I become in the process to have those things. And
Hmm.
but you got to start it somewhere. But to me, like invest your time, like your time and energy. You got to invest 100% in yourself, 100% in yourself. And some people say, about heaven. They say, well, when I die, I want to be good because I want to go to heaven, right? To me, you already have a heaven place here in this earth. My heaven place to me is my house. When I get to my house, that's my heaven place because that's when I found my peace. My peace is in my home. I have
Hmm.
my wife, my kids, and I gotta make sure I'm very focused in my family. All my time and my energy is focused in my family. And then yes, I
Hmm.
do help others too. but I don't give a lot of my time. When I do my time, I go on social media and I post something, and that's pretty much now my contribution onto they. That's a little bit of my time because it take me probably about like an hour to set up a video to share over there. But even today, my business, my personal life, all my time and energy, I focus in myself, develop myself and help my family. At the same time, end up helping others as well too. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes, that is powerful.
yeah.
This has been an enlightening show, and for a lot of people that look at individuals that come from other countries and see the success that they have and wonder, well, why can't I have this? Why they have businesses? Why do they have cars? How do they get these homes? And you said it, you came focused, you were driven, and you were relentless in that goal, and you were disciplined, and you empowered your mind, and you didn't hang around or deal with toxicity with people who are toxic, and that's garbage in, like, let's say garbage in, garbage
Habit
stays.
space.
So
Yes.
if you don't associate yourself with people that are going somewhere, that are doing something, then you will be in that same crowd of doing nothing. So that was powerful how you shared your story of progression, that journey to your purpose and what you're doing right now. Any closing remarks?
um like I said today, like say, even I have accomplished out there, Mr. Valor. I have accomplished like things maybe many Americans don't have yet right now, but I'm pretty sure they dream about. They dream about have a bigger house. They dream about have a better car. They may dream about to help someone they love in their families, or they may want to do even beyond that. They may want to do something for the society because I think we should do that. Even today, I'm still developing myself in some stuff. Like today, I didn't speak the perfect English. May some of you listen to me right now. You speak better English than I. You have a high school diploma. I didn't have that. I never went back to school. I come to
Wow.
this country. I have to learn English, in the street, working. Some of you right now have something I didn't have. Okay, I didn't born here. I didn't speak a perfect English, but believe me, I'm working every day to make improvements. Okay, I'm working every day to make improvement. Even right now, they have things I'm afraid about. Even right now, to be doing this today, it's my first time doing this today. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's my first time here doing this to Dr. Valor today. But I've been working the back scene, yes. I've been writing things. I'm writing my book right now. I've been working my book over a year. I'm telling you, it's not easy. It's been really hard for me because, like I said, I have some borders in me. Crossing the border. The name of my book is Crossing the Borders Beyond the Settle Point. Crossing the Borders Beyond the Settle Point. Because in life, it's not just crossing the border to Mexico. I have many other borders I have to cross, come to United
Wow.
States. Many other borders. All of us does. Even the Americans does have borders to cross. You have borders in your mind you need to cross. You're afraid. You're afraid of something. At that time when I come to United States, yes, I could lose my life. I could get bit by a snake. I could get kidnapped by bandidos. I can never see my family again. I didn't see my mother for 19 years. I was here by myself. By myself. But in life, sometimes you got to use what you have. You got to use what you have. Don't wait for somebody to make it easy for you because it's not. Because you got to do the work. You got to do the work. And nothing's going to change in your life until you change. Nothing's going to change until you change because you got to do the work. You got to do the work. I believe I did that. I do that today. I'm afraid of things today. Believe me. I have all that today, but I'm still not feel fulfilled. Not feel like, say, no, I got something there. Because I could stop today. I could stop today and say, you know what? I know a way I can make a good life for myself. But my purpose here in this earth is to help the many people as I can. That's my purpose. It's not about the money because when it comes to money, I don't need more money right now. Okay, because what I have is enough. The most powerful thing, if I lose everything I have today, believe me, most people they focus many years building wealth, but when they have the wealth, they so scared. They hold that so tight, they don't want to lose it. But that's not financial freedom. The really financial freedom comes when you build the mind freedom. When mind freedom it is, when you say, no, why? If I lose everything today, I can build again. That happened to me in 2008 and 9. I lost everything. What happened 3 years? 2013 to 2015 and 2016. I have a paid off house in 3 years. In 3 years, I
Wow.
have a paid off house. Like I said, I'm not afraid today to lose what I have because the financial freedom is over here, my mind freedom. That's the most powerful me today. I'm not afraid. If I lose everything today, I can build 10 times bigger. That's how I see my life today. I'm telling you, don't be afraid to start some because If you don't go to jail, if you don't, your life is not a risk. What else can happen? You're just gonna go back to live the same life you lived before. Okay, just don't be afraid. Go forward. If you have something, but the why have to be so strong. I think that's something separates people from other people. With activity like that's maybe what separates me from you to have what I have today, or separates some people from others is because the why is so weak. Your why have to be so strong. Okay, that why have to wake you up. They have to wake you up at night to say, you know why? I gotta wake up 5 o'clock in the morning. I gotta wake up 2 o'clock in the morning for this tomorrow. I wake up 2 o'clock in the morning until today. I wake up 2 o'clock in the morning every single day for the past 3 years. Why I do that? I do financial market. Many people don't know that. I do financial market for almost 5 years. I don't just do floors in people's home. Okay, I do financial market. Many people don't know that. That's another resource of income. I'm expanding my mind. Okay, when somebody tell you read books to expand your mind, do it. Do it. Take notes. When we listen to something, very important. You gotta take notes. Not just listen to people. Take notes. Sometimes one
Mm,
word can change your life. Like Les Brown tell me when I listen to him, you gotta be hungry. You gotta be hungry. How bad do you want it? How bad do
mm,
you want? He said, hungry people have zero excuse for success. He says, some people need to see it to believe it, but if you believe it, you can see it. I still have that with me. Those words, they keep pounding my mind when I doubt myself. If you believe it, you can see it. If you believe it, you can see it. If you believe it, you can see it. I encourage you, do the same. Find something you're passionate about. You may not have the how, but you got to start and the how will come. Because when I started, I don't know everything, but and I find somebody that helped me to get there.
mm.
That's
That's
something I gotta
powerful.
tell you today. Yes, do it. Yes.
Wow. This has just been a fabulous show. I pray that those of you that have tuned in and you're enjoying the show, take it and forward it to someone that's stuck in life, that in the car with the motor running, going nowhere. This will motivate and inspire them. So if Claudio Sette can do it, I can do it.
Yes.
So join us again on another Hot Topics from the Soul. And don't forget to subscribe to Hot Topics from the Soul. And remember, December is closing out soon and a new year begins. So Claudio has given you some steps to get to the next level. I encourage you to follow your dreams and live your purpose.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Valerie.
Reaching all minds, turning knowledge into gold. Hot topics from the soul.